हेलो स्टूडेंट्स, हाउ आर यू? आई होप सभी लोग अच्छे होंगे. टुडे वी आर गोइंग टू कंटिन्यू द सीरीज ऑफ इलेक्ट्रोस्टैटिक्स problems from electrostatics. In last two lectures we have covered many good problems from electrostatics. In today's lectures also we are going to cover some excellent problems. Let's start today's lecture. The first problem says a point charge q which is 2 coulomb is placed at distance of x is equal to 50 meter from center of conducting a sphere of radius r which is 1 meter. The current through the switch S when it is closed and charge q move towards a sphere with velocity of 50 meter per second is I milliamperes. Find the value of I by 4 GIF. GIF of I by 4 we have to find. So first of all we have to find I, then we will calculate I by 4 GIF. Problem is not that tough, but the concept behind it is very good. All of you know that when switch S will be closed, the sphere will be earth. So potential of this sphere after closing the switch S will be 0. If a conducting sphere is placed in an isolated system, it is an isolated method, that is any charge is not present in the vicinity of this conducting sphere, then charge on this sphere will be 0 because potential will be 0. But because of the presence of this charge q, the charge on this sphere will not be 0. Because due to this charge there will be some potential developed on it which will be positive. So it has to generate some negative potential so that the net potential on this sphere should be 0 because it is earth, right? So let's calculate. Now this switch is closed, so this sphere is earth. So let us assume that on this sphere a charge q dash appeared after closing the switch. Now potential of this sphere should be equal to 0. So potential of a sphere must be equal to 0. So potential of a sphere will be of due to this charge and due to this charge, and that will be equal to, due to this charge that will be equal to k q dash by capital R, and due to that will be equal to k q by x, and that will be equal to 0. K is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught, right? So from here you can say q dash comes out to be minus r by x into q. So that what we have concluded also, that a negative charge will appear on the surface of this sphere, due to which a negative potential will be generated, and due to this a positive potential is generated. So overall that will be 0, right? So this much charge will be generated on the surface of this sphere, some negative charge like this, like. Now this is the charge. Now when this charge is moving towards the sphere, this distance will vary, that is x is not constant. So this will vary, that means this charge will vary with time because x dependent charge is here. So if x is varying, that means q dash is varying. If q dash is varying with time, that means some current will be generated, and that current will goes into this switch, right? So because negative charge generated means what? Electron goes from here to here. So current will go from here to here, right? So let us calculate that current. So what will be the current? Current through switch I will be equal to dq dash by dt, rate of change of charge with respect to time, and that will be equal to, now r and q are constant quantities, so minus rq will be taken out. This is d by dt of 1 upon x, fine. So that will be equal to, now d by dt of 1 upon x will give you minus 1 by x square and dx by dt, chain rule. Now dx by dt, rate of change of x with respect to time, that will be the velocity, and that is given 50. So let's put it like this is minus will be plus rq by x square, and this is velocity v. Now put the values of the variables. Now r is 1, q is 2, x is 50, so it will be 2500, and v velocity is 50, it will be 50. So it comes out to be I will be equal to, this will be cancelled out, there will be 2 upon 50. 2 upon 50, that means equal to, we can say 200 into 10 to the power minus 3 upon 50, right? In fact 2000, and that comes out to be 40 into 10 to the power minus 3. I hope you are getting my point. So it comes out to be 40 milliampere, sorry, this is 40 milliampere, and this is given as I milliampere. So this is given I milliampere, so let it be capital I. So this is equal to I milliampere. So what we have calculated, I is 40. So if I is 40, what will put I by 4? I by 4 will be 10, and GIF of I by 4 is GIF of 10, and that is also equal to 10. So this will be the answer of the problem. So it is not a tough problem, it's a very easy one, but one should have the concept of potential in the mind, that when conducting a sphere is earth, its potential will be 0, not the charge. Charge will be 0 only when the system is isolated, that is in absence of any other charge. If any other charge is present, that means some potential will be developed due to that charge, and it has to generate a negative potential so that the net potential becomes 0, because it is earth. So net potential must be equal to 0. So this concept is very important. When a conducting body is earth, its potential will be 0, not the charge, right? Pause the video and note it down. We'll proceed for the next problem. I hope you have enjoyed the first problem. So let's go for the second one. Before that, I would request you, if you are coming for the first time on this channel, subscribe it and like the video. Let's move to the next problem. This problem says two blocks A and B are connected by a spring made of a non-conducting material. The blocks are placed on a non-conducting smooth horizontal surface. The wall touching A is also non-conducting. Block A carries a negative charge Q1. There exists a uniform electric field E in horizontal direction. A positive charge Q2, minimum possible, is placed on B such that A leaves the contact with the wall. Find value of mod Q2 by mod Q1. If you wish, you can try it yourself. The problem is not that tough, but it is a conceptual problem. Let's see the physical situation behind it. These are the two blocks which are placed on this horizontal surface. This is smooth and non-conducting. This wall is also non-conducting, and there is no friction present over here. This is a spring. The spring has the force constant K, let us assume, and an electric field in this direction is present, uniform electric field. So what will happen? Due to this electric field, a force on this block due to this minus Q1 will be acted in this direction, left side, and on this will be on right side. Now this force, so this block will try to move in leftward, but this wall will block its movement, and this will try to move rightward, so it will start moving right, but the spring will get elongated due to this movement. So a spring force will start acting as time passes by, and after some time, when this spring force acting on this block will dominate the force due to this electric field, then this block will leave the contact with this wall. I hope you are getting my point. The physical situation is clear to all of you. Initially this block will move towards right, because initially the spring is in its natural state, so there will be no spring force, and the force will act due to this E will be towards right. This is a positive charge over here, so it will move rightward. It cannot move left because a wall is present over here. So when it moves rightward, there will be elongation in this spring, so a spring force will act left on this block and in right direction on this block. An electric force is acting in left direction, a spring force acting in right direction. When this spring force dominates this electric force, this block will move towards right and you will leave the contact with the wall. This is the problem. There is one other thing that is given in this problem. This is we have to put the minimum possible charge on this block, because this force, rightward force, depends on the magnitude of this charge. If this charge is very large, there will be large force acting on this. So in minimum time, this block will leave the contact. So we have to place the minimum possible charge over here so that it will leave the contact, right? Now let's make the free body diagram. Suppose after it moves by a distance, suppose this block comes over here, B, and this is I have A. This spring is stressed by suppose this spring is stressed by X. At this juncture, there will be a force over here that will be Kx and a force over here that will be Q1E, right? And on this, at this point of time, it is moving with velocity v, right? So let us calculate the values. Here a charge Q2 is present. Now let us calculate this elongation x. So we can say by energy conservation, what we can say? By energy conservation we can say half kx square, this is the gain in elastic potential energy in this spring, plus half mv square, and that will be due to the work done by the force, electric force. What will be the work done? It will be Q2E into x. This is the work done by the electric force. So by energy conservation say, or by you can say work energy theorem, that will be better thing, work energy theorem, right? So this is my equation number 1, and for leaving the contact with wall, Kx is equal to Q1E, this is my equation number 2. At this point it is almost at the verge of losing the contact with this wall, right? So let's calculate the values. So from here I can say from 1 and 2, let's put the value of x from here to here. From here you can x is Q1E by K. Put it over here. So half K Q1E by K whole square plus half mv square is equal to Q2E into x. So I can say half Q1 square E square by K, x values Q1E by K, plus half mv square is equal to Q1 Q2 E square by K, right? We have to minimize the value of Q2. So let's find Q2 from here. So from here Q2 will be equal to K upon Q1 E square into 1 by 2 Q1 square E square by K plus half mv square. Now to minimize this value of Q2, because we have to take the minimum possible charge, this factor should be G, this should be minimum. This is minimum only when, what is in our hand? Which one? K? No. E? No. Q1? No. M? No. V? Yes. We can say that at this moment, this quantity, I am writing like this, this quantity is greater than equal to K Q1 E square half Q1 square E square by K. Why? Because half mv square is greater than equal to 0. I hope you are getting my point, right? So because half mv square is greater than equal to 0, we can write Q2 is greater than equal to this. So let's solve a little bit more. So we can say Q2 is greater than equal to, from here Q1 1 cancel out, E square will be cancel out, K will be cancel out, so we will left out with Q1 by 2, right? So I can say the minimum value of Q2 will be equal to Q1 by 2, right? So what we have to find? Mod Q2 by mod Q1. So obviously mod Q2 by mod Q1, from here it will comes out to be 1 by 2. So this is our answer, mod Q2 by mod Q1, and that will be equal to 1 upon 2. I hope you got my point. What is the beauty of this problem? Two things. One thing, you have to analyze this situation, and the other thing, you have to analyze this thing, that you have to minimize this charge Q2. So this thing is in our hand. So we can say this quantity is greater than equal to 0. So from here we will get the value of minimum value of Q2, and from that we can get the ratio as 1 upon 2, right? If it is going to be asked in JEE advanced integer type, they can easily say mod Q1 by mod Q2, that will be 2, that will be the answer. That's not an issue. The main thing is to solve this problem and acknowledging the physical situation behind it. That is the main thing, that you have to get this thing, that the physical situation is very simple, that a force acted by this field, due to this field on both the blocks, this block will start moving, but this will not, because the wall is there, and this spring force is a variable force. It will enhances its value as this block moves, and after some time this will be force Kx is such that it will start dominating this Q1E, and that moment this block will leave the contact with the wall. Please note down the solution. We will proceed for the next problem. So let's see this problem that I am taking over here. It's a very good problem, very simple one, but it's a beautiful problem. For this you have to know the concept of earthing, first thing, and the second thing, the self energy of a conducting sphere, right? The problem says the large number of identical conducting spheres have been placed as shown in figure. The radius of each sphere is r, and all of them are uncharged. Switch S1 is closed to connect sphere 1 to V volt cell. After some time S1 is opened and S2 is closed. Thereafter S2 is opened and S3 is closed. The process continued till the last switch is closed. Considering the cell and spheres to be system, the loss in energy of the system in the entire process is lambda by mu pi epsilon naught RV square. Then find value of lambda minus mu. Problem is not that tough, but it's a very good problem. If you wish, you can try it yourself. Then after, look at the solution that I am going to provide over here. The first thing that we are going to use, that is, this is all are conducting spheres, right? Keep it in that mind. And this is earth, this terminal is earth, so this potential is at 0 and this is at potential V. So first situation, when S1 is closed, the potential of this sphere will become V. So when S1 gets closed, potential of the sphere 1 will be equal to V, and what will be the potential? It will be 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q upon R. Q is the charge that will appear on that sphere. So it will be V. So it will be, what will be V? V will be equal to 4 pi epsilon naught RV. This is the charge that will appear on this sphere, right? This is the charge. Now, when S1 gets open and S2 gets closed, second situation. When S1 open and S2 closed, what will be the situation? This is our 1 and this is our 2. This is the situation, simple situation. This is a potential V and having charge Q. After connecting these two, the potential of the two spheres will be same. So potential will be same and they are identical spheres, though the potential will be V by 2 and V by 2 and charges will be Q by 2 and Q by 2. I hope you are getting my point, because spheres are identical. So no point in calculating the potential and all that. Simply if it is at potential V, then both will be same at potential, will be V by 2 and V by 2. So what will be charge on this sphere? It will be Q by 2 and potential will be V by 2, right? Similarly, when S2 open, S3 closed, it will be like this is our 2 and this is our third sphere. This was at V by 2 potential initially and charge having Q by 2. After connecting, potential will be V by 4 and V by 4 and charges will be Q by 4 and Q by 4. I hope you are getting my point. And so on. This will vary in this fashion. So what will be the total energy acquired by spheres? If you know that energy will be equal to, what will be the energy by a conducting sphere? Do you remember what will be the energy, self energy of a conducting sphere having a charge Q? If you remember, it will be very good. Yes, it will be kq square by 2r. What is k? K is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught r. So you can say it is 1 by 2, 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught q square by r. Now for the spheres, Q will vary. Q will vary. First sphere will be Q. Second, after charging, will be Q by 2. That will be Q by 4 and then Q by 8 and so on. So the total energy will be, this will be the constant 4 pi epsilon naught r will be taking out. After disconnecting switch S1, the charge on the first sphere will be Q by 2 after connecting to this. So it will left out with Q by 2 square. What about 2? Q by 4. So Q by 4 square. Again Q by 8 square and so on up to infinite. Right? So it will comes out to be 1 upon 8 pi epsilon naught r Q square, coming out to be 1 by 2 square, 1 by 4 square, 1 by 8 square and so on. Right? So let's calculate over here. So it will be Q square by 8 pi epsilon naught r. Suppose this is, I am denoting it by U, into, now this is a GP. This 4 square can be written as 2 to the power 4. This will be written as 2 to the power 6. So this is a GP. First term is 1 by 2 square and the common ratio is 1 by 2 square. So 1 by 2 square upon 1 minus 1 by 2 square. So it comes out to be 1 by 4, 1 minus 1 by 4, that is 3 by 4, will be 1 by 3. So it will be Q square by 24 pi epsilon naught r. I hope you are getting my point. So this is the energy that is acquired by the whole system of spheres. And what is the energy provided by the battery? Let's calculate that also. Just pause the video and note it down. I am proceeding ahead. The energy provided by cell will be equal to QV, right? And from here, in terms of Q, if you have to calculate, or in terms of V, whatever you wish, in terms of Q it will be, in terms of V it will be 4 pi epsilon naught R V square. This is the energy provided by the cell. So let's convert it into V also. Q square, Q is this, so it will be 16 pi square epsilon naught square R square V square upon 24 pi epsilon naught R. So that comes out to be pi epsilon naught R V square upon 2 by 3. So this is the energy gained by the spheres, and this is the energy provided by the battery. So what will be the loss? Loss will be, this is given and that is gained. So this is the loss, right? So it comes out to be 10 by 3 pi epsilon naught RV square. Now compare with this given value. Now comparing with this, we can say lambda is 10 and mu is 3. So obviously lambda minus mu comes out to be 7. So this is the answer of this problem. So it is not a tough problem. The basic thing that you have to know, that what is the self energy of a conducting sphere having the charge Q, and one thing, and the other thing, when we connect the two spheres with a conducting wire and they are identical, there will be Q potential. So calculation is very easy. So I hope you enjoyed today's lecture. I once again say, if you are coming for the first time to this channel, subscribe it. Many people come to this channel, watch the videos but doesn't subscribe. I don't know why. If you subscribe and like the video, that will encourage me, and I will bring more problems and more good lectures for you, and that will be beneficial. Take care of yourself. Goodbye. Take care.